Alrighty. That over there. Still getting the hang of the software that we're using. All right, guys. Well, let's see. We get started here.
Okay.
Welcome to our weekly Law of Attraction Roundtable call. My name's Kevin Young. For those of you who don't know me, I think everybody on the call knows me. And me and my wife, Suzanne, who's in the other window there, will be facilitating the roundtable discussion tonight for the next hour. Our company is Personal Success Programs, and we host webinars, workshops, and coaching programs, all based around the Law of Attraction. We're located in a suburb of Detroit, Michigan called Novi, just outside of Detroit. So we're hosting these free calls as a way to build a global community of Law of Attraction practitioners, just like you guys. We believe that the more people who understand this naturally occurring law, the better it's going to be for everybody on the planet. At least it will be for us. And so we're very glad that you guys are all part of that growing global community. So a little bit of housekeeping. Just relax, be comfortable. Try to eliminate distractions while you're online. Also, keep yourself muted if there's any background noise. I have the ability to mute you here, so if somebody gets noisy, I'll just mute you, and you can unmute yourself if you have something to say. There's, for those of you who are on the computer, there's a raise hand button in the top of your computer screen, and you can click that if you have a question. If you're on the phone, it's okay, no problem. When we're in between conversations, just go ahead and jump in, say your name so that we know who you are, and either ask your question, or if it's in the roundtable part, go ahead and just jump right in. Part of the fun of this is that even though we'll present a little material and answer your questions, this is a group discussion as well. For those of you who've been to the Billionaires Club meetup group that we hold here in just a few miles from us every month, it's a very similar format. So you can jump right in and share what you had to say, or if you have questions, that's what we're here for. Also, keep in mind that this workshop is being recorded, just the audio portion, and so that will be available to all of those of you guys who are on the call today. There's an automatic email that's sent out. I think it's about an hour afterwards, and so you can use that if you want to listen to it again. And if your dog wants to participate, that's fine too. Most importantly, we're here to have fun. So and try to enlighten ourselves about how to use the law of attraction and create the best lives we can. In the future, the calls will continue to be held on Mondays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time until I think probably August, when we'll probably go back to 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that's just because I'm in the final stages of preparing for my advanced level coaching certification, and I have a class that overlaps. That's why we moved them. So anything you want to know more about regarding personal success programs, you can go to our website, personalsuccessprograms.com. And I think that's that. Any questions before we jump in here? Oh, also there. You good? Okay. There's a chat window also. If you don't feel like talking on the phone and you still want to raise a question or say something, you can just type into your chat window. Just click on that and then you can type in. I'm hearing a lot of background noise. That looks like Joe. I'm going to mute you, Joe. There we go. Okay, and also if you jump in and you start talking and nobody's listening, you're probably still muted. So be sure to unmute yourself or raise your hand and I'll unmute you. All right, well, so we decided last week that we were going to add a 10-minute topic for the day to just kind of have a focal point for the conversation. And we don't have to stick to that. If you got a relationship issue, you got a money issue, job, it doesn't matter. We'll answer questions on whatever is on your mind. But our topic for today is how to become a money magnet. So we're actually going to be kicking off a first run of a webinar. Should be a 6-part series around this topic, how to become a money magnet. So I thought I'd pull out a few of the tips from that webinar so you can share them for free and see if they actually work for you. Well, the first thing to know is that you already are a money magnet and a magnet for everything else. Law of attraction makes us magnetic to the things that we're focused on, the energy that we are emitting. So the question that always comes up is, well, why isn't the money that I want then in my bank account? Because I've certainly been thinking about it. Well, it turns out it's really simple. It's just because we have blocking beliefs about money. Or they could be deeper in terms of beliefs of not being worthy of success or the things that money can bring. So it always comes down to a belief system that's simply blocking, because everything is supposed to come to us. Law of attraction is always turned on, and we're supposed to manifest all of our desires all the time, but we've got all these limiting beliefs. So the secret to manifesting what you want in life is to get into what we call an aligned state and release your beliefs, change your beliefs to ones that are empowering and supportive. So three of the categories that come up often when we coach around money or do our workshops uh, are these three. The first is that there's not enough money on the planet. In other words, there's a scarcity mindset that the pie of money is fixed in size and that I don't have any control over it and somebody else has it, then maybe I don't get enough of it. So there's the whole reapportionment argument. You've probably heard that money doesn't grow on trees. I'm sure I grew up with that one. Or there's not enough money simply to go around for everybody, so you've got to hoard yours, or somebody else is hoarding it and it's not fair. I'm just curious if anybody else on the phone has another limiting belief that they've heard about money, or something that helps you to believe that money is in limited supply or unavailable. And you can jump right in too if you have a comment.
Hey Kevin, hey Suzanne, this is Sherman.
Sherman, hi.
How you guys doing?
So
Yeah,
what do you think,
another
Sherman?
one. This kind of goes with scarcity, I guess. It's the minimalist view.
Hmm.
Live kind of below your means, right? Kind of
Ah.
be happy with what you got.
Ooh, okay, that's a big one. Live below your
Yeah.
means. Be happy with what you have, right? Right, because you're lucky to have that at all. Very nice. I bet that resonates with a lot of people. We certainly in my family, we didn't have a lot of money, and we grew up around an environment with money. We grew up in a rich neighborhood, and so there was always that. Well, you simply can't have it. There must be something wrong with us because we didn't have the money and they did. And I found out much later that it was just a belief system. Well, and being happy is, you can always be happy with what you have in the moment, and that is actually a good starting point, because if you're not happy in the now, you're not going to attract a happy future, because the attraction part is going on. But what that usually is accompanied with is be happy with what you have now because you're not going to get any more, or it's too hard to get it, or blah, 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 blah. So it's a very important point. So it's about being happy in the now and knowing that there's more on the way as soon as you open up to it, and nothing else can get in the way. Now, one thing, the sort of a countering point that I like to think about around the not enough is that there's over 70 trillion, with a T, trillion dollars on this planet. So that money has not always been there. It was created by us through the exercise of alignment. That is us getting into alignment, creating value by being the most authentic version of us, and then acting on that. If you're an artist or a painter or an engineer or maybe a drummer, like I play drums, or you present workshops like we do, or coaching, whatever it is that you do, if you do it when you're in alignment, then you are actually creating the value, which then turns into money. That's the first one. So the second one, which has a little overlap with the first one, is that it conflicts with my values. So you've heard, I'm sure, and Sherman just mentioned something similar. For instance, money is the root of all evil, or the love of money, as I believe the biblical phrase goes. So loving of money is actually an evil thing. So people have interpreted that to mean if I have money, I am evil. Or the corollary, acquiring money makes you greedy. And believe it or not, there's actually no such thing as greed. There can be greedy energy, which is a scarcity mindset, but greed in itself doesn't actually exist because of law of attraction. In other words, you can't take from somebody else without them being in a vibrational state of vulnerability where they actually end up giving it to you. Another one is that you can't or shouldn't buy happiness. In other words, they should be separate. You hear a lot of spiritual people talk about not having desires because desires lead you off the path of enlightenment, and it's really the opposite of that. There's the enlightened path includes physicality. We were spiritual first, and we came into physical beings as a result of the extension of going beyond the spirituality. So we're very much physical beings, and we're here to live a physical world. And that means having stuff and money. Another one is about rich people in general, is that they're evil or unethical or selfish, not spiritual beings. Certainly Donald Trump has gotten his share of that focus, as he often acts in that way, and we tie the money that he has to that behavior. But it turns out, at least in our experience, and if you actually study well-to-do people who've been that way for a long time, they're exactly the opposite. They're usually the most generous, kind, loving people. They'd give you anything, off the shirt off their back, for instance. So the rich people being evil, that comes from, I think, TV or other sources where people who are already in that sort of jealous or insecure feeling about money and believe that it can be taken from them, then it's easy to paint the people with money as being the bad guys when they've actually got it figured out. So why don't we just figure it out? The universe has no judgments about money or the flow of it, so why don't we let that go as well? Because think about it. Are you going to be rich if you believe rich people are bad? Not going to happen. You're not going to become somebody that you despise. So it's good to get at peace with that. And then the final one is that getting money requires a lot of action or hard work or effort that you have to put off today for tomorrow. And that's what I was taught. You have to put all your money into savings, and you got to work hard. And I never took vacations before I met Suzanne. And we learned this stuff together, and now we go on several vacations, usually cruises, every single year, because it's really important to get that energy back. So it doesn't require a lot of hard work and action. It turns out that money's attracted, like everything else, like we were saying earlier. So effort is not required, but action can be required, but the action should always be inspired. So when you take action, if you're taking it out of alignment from a negative state of mind, then the action that's required is going to be a lot harder because you're going to build up resistance. Sort of like trying to push a car through the mud. There's a lot of resistance, where you want it out on the open highway where there's no resistance. So money is attracted. It doesn't require, in fact, it doesn't require action at all. You can actually attract money by sitting in your closet and meditating your whole life. It's just no fun. So you want to be out there having fun with the action part, but only take action when it's inspired. And the key phrase to remember is that if it's not a hell yes, you're not getting inspired to do something, it's a hell no. So just keep that in mind. Get your inspiration up, work on getting your alignment in place, feeling good about yourself, using other efforts, and then when the inspiration comes and you act, you've got the leverage, the exponential leverage of the universe behind you, and that's when things happen very, very quickly. So here are a couple of tips, and then we'll get on to the Q&A part that you can do to unblock your money flow. First thing is to remember that money is simply a reflection of the flow of energy. Everything is flowing energy. Nothing is stagnant or standing still. It's just where it's directed. Law of attraction keeps that money flow in balance. So the energy coming in always has to match the energy going out. So money is no different. We're the valve that opens or closes. It allows the money to flow through us. So you don't want it to ever get clogged. The higher you are on the emotional scale on average, the more you truly honor how you're feeling and feel good, you open the valve up. Money then can flow. Another thing that's maybe helpful in general is to just not think about money. Just get off the topic of money altogether. Because if you got a big negative energy around money and you think about money, you're going to go back to the negative state of mind. So you don't have to be positive about money specifically in order to attract money. You just have to be positive in general and not in a negative state about money and blocking it. So it's a neat thing about a law of attraction is just being in alignment is what allows things to flow. And one more thing is that you are born worthy. Law of attraction makes that a true statement. Right? Once you get the hang of attracting money and other things into your life, you'll realize that you were born into worthiness and nothing can take that away. So honor yourself, practice a little self-love to allow that to come through. Be easy on yourself. You're not getting it wrong. Just kind of allow it to happen. And then allow things to flow. And when they do flow, and they will, if you do this work, keep track of the small manifestations that show up. Like if you got a dollar bill, you found a dollar bill, Like when I first started doing this work, I found $1. Like, it was so cool. Now, could that pay the house payment? No. And I could look at it and say, but where's the other however many hundreds of dollars or whatever? And that would defeat the energy. So you want to stay in the flow and say, celebrate. Hey, we got $1, and make a big deal about it. And I used to keep it on my dresser. So take the small manifestations and exaggerate them. Keep focused on them, milk the energy around them, and then they will grow. It's just like watering a plant. You want to water your beliefs so that they will grow. So that's all I have on that subject. Like to hear what you guys think, your opinions, your feedback, your questions, and we can get into question and answer on any subject right off the bat. So who would like to go first? And don't be shy. The only dumb question is the one that doesn't get asked.
Hey, Kevin, it's Sherman again.
Yeah, Sherman.
Yeah, so I want to challenge your statement earlier because I want to understand about how someone who's sitting in a closet could potentially make money just by meditating on it. Well, I mean, I know that's like kind of a oversimplification or like exaggeration, but
Yeah.
like, isn't action always required? Aren't you always wanting to provide some kind of value or service to someone?
It's you're on to something. You're on the right path. The value that you're providing is energetic. It doesn't have to be physical. Okay, you're a broadcasting machine, and so the value that you're creating is the alignment. And when you're in joy about something, you're radiating that. So it doesn't have to come through the physical action. So you could be in a pure state of love and appreciation, and knowing that your bills are going to be paid. And I've known people who can do this, and they'll get a check from someplace. It'll just show up in the mail. It might be something random. Suzanne actually had that happen when we first met, when after she had been divorced, and her money was going down, and they found her. She had a life insurance policy. I don't know, Suzanne, you want to tell a little bit of that story real quick?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, sure. That was a really fun attraction. We really weren't into the law of attraction then, but we, in hindsight, understanding how it works, it was perfect because I was recently divorced. Well, I'd been divorced a year, and I had so much money to live on that I knew I would be able to support myself for a couple of years before I built a business I was in. And the first year went by, and I spent half the money, and I could have looked at the account, my bank account, and gotten nervous and worried, like, how, boy, I better get on the ball here and build this business faster. But the thing that I knew intuitively was I just loved what I was doing. I had a lot of fun. It was my favorite thing to do, the way I wanted to, my career at that time. And so I just continued to focus on how much fun I was having and the joy of being able to do what I want to do and not work for anyone anymore. And all of a sudden, I got in the mail a letter from a life insurance company that had been looking for me for 20 years. Well, looking for a person of my name. And if I was that person, please let them know. And I contacted them, and lo and behold, it was really fun. After having have to prove who I was, of course, they, for some reason, I don't know how it really worked out, that I was sent a check like for $45,000. It was totally amazing. Never expected it, but I look back on it and know that I didn't get worried and work harder and stress myself out and think, oh, my time is running out. And instead, I just kept enjoying what I was doing, thankful that I had this job that I loved and a business I was building. And you know, after we learned about the law of attraction, when I look back on that, I thought, oh, no wonder that just showed up. That was so much fun. It was no effort at all. It was just enjoying my life. And that really, when you're in a great state of appreciation and loving what you do, things will come to you in so many surprising ways.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Does that make sense, Sherman? You want to talk about it more? I think you're muted right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess because I'm in a sales position, right? So I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around it because um, you have to take action. You have to make the call, right? Otherwise, I mean, how are people going to
Really?
know about your services? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
how are
just,
they?
I mean, good question. I don't know. I guess it's a paradigm I'm trying to, you know,
Yeah, well, again,
overcome. And
yes, this is a very common thing, and when we've done this at the Billionaires Club, the same segment on how to become a money magnet, we have the same discussions because we've been so taught, and we teach ourselves. Okay, I made 3 calls, and one of them signed up. Okay, that means that making calls gets people. We kind of train ourselves into the beliefs that we have, or we learn them from other people and then we prove them to ourselves. Law of attraction will make everything true that you believe. In fact, it does. So if you believe that it takes effort, then it will take effort. But the thing to remember, and you'll prove this to yourself, I have no doubt, because you're so right on track. It's the law of attraction is working on all energy everywhere, all at once. And so it knows where everything is, and it's driving all the impulses that everyone's receiving all the time. All the impulses that you receive to act or to call somebody or to read a book, to go on the internet, all of those, even though you're the captain of the ship, you determine where the stream is that you're picking up. The stream comes from the law of attraction. And so people could be inspired if one person knew that you were in sales doing this job and they were so lit up by your energy and they told 10 people and got so lit up and they told 10 people who could then go, you could have 100 people calling you and you wouldn't have had to make one single phone call. But the part that you got to do, and we teach this in an attracting clients workshop, is you got to be lit up about what you're doing. Because if you're not broadcasting, then the law of attraction has nothing to work with. There's no energy movement anywhere. And that's why we always encourage people that you can be in a job that you don't necessarily like if you're paying the bills, but long term, you got to find what you're passionate about, what you would do if you didn't get paid for, and just do that and do it long enough that you can make the bridge into it from whatever you're getting paid to do right now. And there is no limit to the money. If you think about it, what's the difference between you and me versus somebody who makes $1 million a year? If they got the same 24 hours, they're doing something different, and they aren't working a million times harder. I can guarantee you that. In fact, they usually are working less hard than we are. So there's most definitely an energetic component, and this is something all you guys got to prove to yourself. It's very important to start practicing this. Get some of the fundamentals of law of attraction figured out. Get, like, for instance, Ask and It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. That's a great book to read. To practice getting into alignment, you do a little bit of meditation, do some list of positive aspects, list of appreciation first thing in the morning, and see if you can get the energy going in that direction and notice what changes in your day. And that's the loop that we all want to close. Because as we close that loop, meaning I took this change in my energy, not my action, but my energy, and then I was inspired to do things differently and things showed up differently. That's when you start to prove the power that it goes beyond action. But it's not that there won't be action, it's just going to be fun action, inspired action. I don't know if that helps at all, Sherman. I think we have a hand up here.
yeah, most definitely. Thank you guys. Appreciate
Okay,
that.
you bet. It looks like Deb's got her hand up. Deborah, you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question or jump in? You know how to unmute yourself? It's a little button at the top. Let me help you out here.
Oh, okay. Okay,
There
I
you go.
found it. This is something that I've experienced several times. I get these blocks and I just can't move on it. I can't do what I have to do. And I'm not talking about what you're thinking about. I'm talking about like when the first thing I noticed is when I was going through my divorce. And I had to write some papers showing my cost of living and stuff because he wasn't helping out at all with me raising my 4 kids and all that. And I just could not. Well, I started to go write it a few times, and I saw all the stuff that he put in the divorce papers, which really got me upset because he was lying a lot in there. But anyway, I just couldn't do it. I could never make myself do that. I don't know why. It's like I had a block. You couldn't push me into it.
Well, no, no. Law of attraction works from the point of attraction, and any force that you use is going to attract force back to you. And you obviously already had some negative energy going around it. You just said that he lied, and I'm sure a million other things were going on as well that did not feel good. So it's not surprising that the action, again, it's just sort of the same argument, would be more difficult because you're attracting things that are putting blocks in your way. You're attracting the resistance because you're focused on negative energy. And that's a hard thing to do when it feels like somebody else is doing something to us. Right? We're a victim society. We have all these laws, and this person did that to me, and we did that to them, and blah, blah, blah. And none of that's actually true. There are no victims. The energy of the victim person is the energy of the bullied person. They're the same frequency. They're down near powerlessness on the emotional
I,
scale. What was
I
that?
I really got into a victim attitude around that time of the divorce because there was a lot.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all go through that kind of stuff. There are people who push our buttons, there are situations that do that. And those we call those, and they can sound like they're sad, but they're also where we learn how to build our strength. We don't find ourselves, we don't get clarity without that step. I'm sorry?
I've had the same block with other things that maybe weren't quite as bad. It usually has to do with paperwork, though.
Well, so there's always a message when you're feeling procrastination around something.
Mhm.
Some of the law of attraction teachers, the Abraham teachers that we follow, say that procrastination is always a good thing. And the reason is because it's an indicator to us that we've got resistance around doing something. And if you move forward in resistance, you're going to attract more things to have resistance in, and it will be a harder journey. So when you feel yourself procrastinating, it's best to step back for a second and not push through and see if you can find some alignment about the subject. We talked last week about going general, which is the idea of kind of pulling your head out of the negative focus or the thing, kind of try to see it from the 40,000-foot view, kind of get kind of a step back and look at the whole environment. And sometimes it also helps to elongate the timeline too. Say, do I need to push through this thing this microsecond? Do I have 5 minutes I can get my center? Do I have a day? You know, if it's maybe I've got a month, why am I pushing myself right now? So if we take the time to pull back and get into alignment about it first and soften it a little bit, take the broader view, then we start to get options. And when we tune ourselves to that higher frequency, and going general is one of the many ways you can do that on the emotional scale, the higher frequencies are where all the source intelligence is, the broader view which can see all the paths to get us to what we want, and will send us the direct guidance on how to get there, and it usually will go around the block that we're bumping up against. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. hmm
Okay. What's are there any things that you like to do that get you into alignment or soften your energy that
Yeah.
maybe come to mind?
Yeah. Yeah. There are, and I think what helps me the most is listening to some YouTube videos, something to do with Abe Hicks or Law of Attraction, or
Hmm.
I even feng shui is making me happy.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's a neat thing because it doesn't matter what the thing is as long as it makes you happy.
Well, it puts me back into the place where I should be, where I have to keep reinforcing that, it seems, but I'm getting it's staying longer and longer now, so yeah, it's
I
getting
think,
better.
yeah, and we've known each other quite a while, and my feedback would be you're doing really well, relatively
Yeah.
speaking. Yeah, it's hard to see from the inside. That's why it helps to know people who can reflect that back to you. That's why I have coaches in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Is that helpful, Deb?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I do procrastinate, I think, too much. So it's just not the right timing, huh?
Well,
No, I'm bumping up against things. And you know what? Actually, with those papers, yeah, when I think about the details of what I have to write and stuff, then I don't know. It's just too much. I can't handle it.
well,
You
and
know.
that's again, that's a good indicator to pull back from it and go do something to find some alignment. And then from your aligned state of mind, reintroduce the idea of the papers and see if you can find a more positive way, a beneficial way of looking at doing the papers that you didn't see before. Like what would be the outcome in general terms? You don't have to give us details, but like if you got through these papers, what would be the benefit on the other side?
Lots of money.
Well, there you go. So, so how does it feel when you think about having lots of money?
Oh, well, I like that, but it's already too late now. It's all over. I
Well,
didn't
okay,
do it. I
it's
didn't get
okay.
the money.
And how does that feel when you think about it?
I'm okay with it now. There's more
Are you?
money out there.
Okay, there, nice. See, you pivoted. And for everybody on the call, that's how it's done. It's okay to take a little dip and have a little lament there, but don't stay there. You get 17 seconds. If we go there longer than 17 seconds, we'll attract another stream down there at the bottom, and then another stream, another 17 seconds. And that's how you build negative momentum. But what Deb did so well right there is she felt herself going down a little bit, and then she pivoted. She said, but there's lots of more money out there. Yeah, there's $70 trillion out there. And all those dollars are known by the law of attraction, and it knows how to bring them to us. All we got to do is keep doing that positive work, and it'll come. Nice. Nice job. Thanks for demonstrating that, Deb.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next?
Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
It's Liz.
Hi, Liz.
How are you this evening? And thank you for doing this for us. It really is a great way to start my week out.
Wonderful.
And I really appreciate both of you guys so much. I love you.
Likewise.
Well, as you, I know you do. I feel it, right? As
Yeah.
you know, I have been studying the law of attraction for a very long time. I get stuck. I'm first going to say I'm a master at manifesting.
Hmm.
And I won't say it any way better. But I do get stuck, like I got stuck on the word focus. It sounded like work to me, and I got past that. And then today I was, I manifest money like crazy, and lately I've just been stuck like in every area of my life. Like, why isn't it flowing better? What's going on? I'm stuck in my brain. And I walk myself through all the steps, and okay, well, I just need to get feeling good, and then I'm feeling good. Then I think about, okay, well, where's the money? Where's the relationship? Where's the, right? So I listened to this YouTube clip, and I really realized that I needed to relax my brain, relax into good feeling thoughts, and
Nice.
it was thoughts and feelings, get lazier, be nicer to myself, and the ease of things. And then it said that there's, Abraham said there's 3 things we should always do, is meditate for 15 minutes in the morning, which, like, I have not been doing my morning thing. And 15 minutes, I don't have 15 minutes. Well, I've decided that I'm actually going to do that. And then get outside and move and look at everything and say, you're my favorite frog, you're my favorite tree, you're my favorite, the gratitude, right?
Right.
But what really, and then do the notebook, of your positive aspects. But what really hit me, and I know this in my core, and I've lived by this, you guys know that, is that look up and acknowledge that whatever you believe, if it's law of attraction, if it's energy, whatever spiritual God you believe in, or Buddha, whatever, that, and I say, I acknowledge that God is focused right at me all the time. And I forget that, I'm not doing this on my own.
Right.
And I think that really changed it for me, that, I'm not out here all by myself knowing law of attraction works and I'll catch a wave. You know what I mean? But I am being focused on 24/7.
That's right.
Just to get out of my way, relax, and it flows to you. It was just such a great day. It just changed it up for me. Like I am really a procrastinator about paperwork and my business and making calls back, and people that say they're interested in call me back, Liz. I'm interested in whatever. And in my business. And I'm like, oh, they're really not interested, or they call me. You know what I mean? Or focus on, okay, I just want everybody to call me. So at the end of the month last night, I set up my 7 phone calls. And I said, you know what have I got to lose? Nothing. So I called my 7 people, and I was just, this is, can I help you? You said that you might be interested in something, and we discussed it. Are you or aren't you? That was pretty much it, and here's the options. And out of 7 phone calls, I had 5 orders, and one person had already gone on my website and ordered. So, I mean, 6 out of 7, I'm not done with that. And I'm able to help people at the same time. That they're going to feel good. They're going to love what they chose. And that's a good day.
Yeah. So you pivoted your energy is what I'm hearing. You let go of the resistance, whatever you said, procrastination around it. You said, what have I got to lose? And I would suspect there was probably a little hint in there of, look what I've got to gain.
You know what? I did, and that was my biggest problem, is I always thought about, look what I have to gain. I'll get my volume up by the end of the month, whatever. I just stopped that. What really changed me, though, Kevin, was knowing that my God is focused right on me 24/7. I have so much help. I'm not doing this on my own. I'm not doing my paperwork on my own. I'm not sending out, emails on my own. That email is going to show up at that person at the right time, or that person's going to call me at the perfect timing, and I don't have to get all stressed out.
Nice. Okay, so it was more of a sort of a delegation of the stress and the worry that you had to do it all into the knowing that you're being supported by the universe, by God.
100%.
Yeah.
By Buddha, whoever you want to call it, but 100%. And I forget that it's focused on me, and it's focused on everyone. If we just acknowledge it, and then life is so much different.
Yes.
And so now I was blown away today. It was a great day.
All right. Congratulations.
Yay.
So
Thank
you
you.
bring up,
Thank you, guys.
yeah, you bet. Well, so you bring up a really good point that I do want to elaborate a little bit more on. For those of you who are maybe a little bit newer to law of attraction, the only thing that stops our desires from manifesting, and that means all of them, is the resistance that we carry, the blocks that we have. And that comes in the form of beliefs and the doubts and the lack of, and all that kind of stuff. But as Liz said so beautifully, this energy is pointed right at us all the time. The source energy, all the consciousness that exists is multidimensional and multi-focus, meaning we as individual physical beings are single focus. What you focus on, that's what your energy is going toward. But when you move into the non-physical, the higher dimensional realm, you don't have the focusing mechanism like that. So source can focus on all of us all at the same time, and there's no loss, there's no diminishment of the energy. But there's no energy anywhere in the universe that can penetrate our blocks. We're the sole creators of our experience in terms of what we allow in. It's there for everybody, but we're the ones who have to do the work on ourselves to let go of the beliefs that are blocking us. And Liz does that. She is an expert at this, and we've known her a long time and are very blessed to have her wonderful energy in our lives. So it is just that simple. You got way so much help on your side. And that's why, to Sherman's point, you can actually sit in your closet, meditate, feel total appreciation, love, joy, and things can come at you because they already were coming at you. But it's just a lot more fun to be out there playing in the game and molding the clay, as Jerry and Esther Hicks like to say. Thanks so much for that, Liz.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
Wonderful.
it's great, Kevin. I get the visual of jumping in the canoe and just laying back and throwing my arms up and looking at the sun. Just like, woo, this is going to be a great ride.
Yeah.
I had lost the passion about my business. I had lost the passion. Well, you guys know what I've gone through. Yeah. And I've lost the passion about a lot of things. And there's a pivot there for me, or there has been, that oh my gosh, I always have loved my business. I always loved my family, and on it goes. And I just got in the way. I got in my head,
Sure.
and I
And
just
as a
needed
result
to
of doing
relax.
that, yes, and so as we like to say, that's the step one of this three-step process, the asking coming from the contrast to the negative experience. But we don't create desires anywhere else except in step one when we're having the unwanted experience. That's where we get the clarity and the new
Right.
experiences. So it's all important, and so you're using it very wisely. You let it happen, and then you go through it, and then you took the bounce, as we say. You took the information from it, the knowledge that you gleaned, the clarity of, yeah, I really do love my business. I love my clients. So that was all a necessary part of the process. So once again, you're demonstrating it beautifully for us on the call. Thanks, Liz.
Good
You're
job.
welcome, Kevin. Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, Suzanne.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, love you too.
Great discussion. So we got about 15 minutes left here. So who is next? Who's got a question, comment? You want to jump into the discussion? No topic is off limits. You're not
Yeah, I just have a
regulated.
comment for Liz. This is Sherman, by the way. Liz, that was really, really powerful because I think I'm always in my head. I just need to get out of my stinking head, and then, you know, yeah, just kind of. I love that you've been able to surrender, kind of, to Source, to God, um, and not do it on your own, right? I think that's powerful. I think that's
That's right.
huge. So thank you for that.
That's
Oh, thank you, Sherman.
a very good point.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm glad you did that.
yeah. And you never were doing it on your own. That's the illusion, because I grew up being, I was a loner for many years of my life, and it was because I didn't know how to deal with people. And what I didn't know, and I still fall into that. I still think I've got to do everything in our business, and I wear myself out. What I didn't know, and I'm really getting cemented into my brain, is that I never was alone. I was never doing it all on my own. That when I had intention for something and I didn't have any blocks, Law of Attraction was lining up the people and the circumstances. I just thought I was the one doing it. And I was vibrationally, but the things that were happening behind the scenes and then would show up, I would call them luck or coincidence or, good fortune or chance or whatever. And none of that exists in the universe. Everything is attraction based. So we always were getting the help. It's just we weren't allowing in nearly as much as we could. So that's the fun part of the journey now, getting the awareness that, oh yeah, it was always working. We were just in the way, making it slow. And now we start to take our hands off the oars and let the boat kind of go in the direction of our own current, and anything is possible. This is a great discussion. Thanks for bringing that up, Sherman.
Whatever.
Kevin?
Excuse me. Yes, Liz.
Kevin?
Yes.
Well, and just a little note, after I did that, this morning was a big morning for me. And then a half an hour before the call, I was on Facebook, and I noticed there's a live Facebook feed from my company. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit it. And I didn't know it was a live. I just thought it was a regular Facebook post. So I hit the little video. It ended up being live from one of my favorite people, this really cool, old ethnobotanist
There you go.
people, And I had a great, he had a great conversation with some really fun stuff, and I got all motivated again, and I called people in my downline, and I'm like, oh my God, you won't believe this. Go ahead on Facebook and check it out, and it was like this, I felt the fire. And I didn't do anything but know that God's watching me 24/7 and get out of my head.
Yes,
It was
right.
so cool.
Right, boy, what a beautiful story. So there's another great example. Liz getting into the alignment, she had the manifestations, and while she's still in alignment, she followed another impulse, which was go on Facebook at exactly this time. That's the kind of guidance we're getting all the time. And the more that we then just allow it, tune into it, get into the stream, and just follow it as the ideas come up, everything's supposed to work out for us. So again, another great story, Liz. Thank you.
And other than that, just play Candy Crush.
Whatever it takes to get your mind
mindless game.
Yeah. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, I think. So who else wants to jump into the conversation? Still got a bunch of people on the call here. Don't be shy. Jump right in and love to hear your point of view or your question. If you got something that you want a little bit of clarity on, we're happy to coach you around anything that's important to you.
I'll make a little comment, and certainly anybody who have a question, jump right in. I'm just talking because it's quiet. But at any rate, what I loved about Liz's story, and I do this for myself, and I help other people. I love to help other people remind themselves that when you feel stuck, start thinking about, first be aware, what was I thinking when I was feeling stuck. And I think what Liz realized, she couldn't get out of her head, so she just intuitively began to pick something off of YouTube, listen to Abraham, and that particular one was very helpful for her. And so it helped remind her all of the good things and how it really works. And then she reframed the way she was thinking about it. Then she started feeling better, and instead of thinking, oh, they should be calling me, I shouldn't have to call them, to just rephrase it, that brought her energy up a little bit. Oh, what have I got to lose? It's sort of like, wouldn't it be nice if, why not? And when you can talk to yourself in a different way when you're feeling stuck, just find a different way that brings you up a little bit. That's when you get a little more movement till finally you'll get that little inspired thought that will bring you the next step to bringing you the money, the person,
Right.
the place, the thing.
Right. So we have another hand up here, two hands up. Let's put Julie on next, and then maybe Deb after that if we got time. Julie, you want to go ahead and unmute yourself?
Hi there, Kevin. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, everyone. So here's my question. I belong to two network marketing companies, and I'm not going to mention the names because I'm not here to promote that.
Okay.
And they're both health and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I got involved, well, the first company I left because things were just not going the way I wanted them to go, and then there were some health issues in my family, so I decided to go a more natural route. So I joined that particular company, and recently, like in April, I'm trying to condense this, all of a sudden I got business from the company that I left, which I am passionate about. I made these choices because of my son and his health circumstances, and I figured this new company would be a better fit for him. So anyway, I got all this new business on the company that is close to my heart, and so all of a sudden I jumped back on that wagon, okay? But then all of a sudden the next month, business like totally disappeared.
Yeah, that's a pretty common story.
And so I'm like, okay, is the universe trying to play games with me, or like teasing me, or?
No, of course not. No, but you highlight something that a lot of people go through. So when you were in the one company that you were passionate about, and you said you stepped away from that company because it wasn't bringing you the revenue, you had to do something else because of your son or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Primarily
Okay.
due to my son, I was looking for a more pure product line and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. And so, but you left the company that you were passionate about. So there must have been some resistance in the movement because. Go ahead.
No, there was in the past resistance in that company because I wasn't where I wanted to be in that company. But as far as the products, I've always loved the products and they're dear to my heart. It's just the business wasn't going in the direction that it wasn't where I wanted it to be.
Okay, and so does it make sense then that as soon as you took your mind off the business not going where you wanted it to be, that the resistance went away?
Yes. I get that, but when the next month happened,
your focus was back on the business.
Okay.
You see, it's really not that complicated. We tend to make it more complicated because of what we've been taught about action and all that kind of stuff. But it's really that simple. If you can find a way to get lit up about the first company that you're passionate about and not put any pressure on yourself or it to make you money, but keep focused purely on the passion part of the business. This is what Liz does really well, we've discovered as we've known her. She's in a sort of a similar company. It's a little different. I don't know what yours is about, but and who knows, maybe it's the same company.
Network marketing.
Yeah, but Liz has this. Liz has found that she focuses on what she's really passionate about within the company and meeting
Yes.
people. Liz is a genius when it comes to meeting new people and talking to people, and she just is passionate about it. And so as she's moved in that direction of just the things that light her up and doesn't worry about the money tracks her down and overtakes her and jumps in her wallet. So, does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay. So what could you do differently based on this awareness that maybe would help you to keep the resistance soft as you moved it, when you first moved it away from the first company?
Hmm.
And what do you think you could do that would support that? Does it make sense?
Yeah, basically, just focus on, not really necessarily, but just trying to have more fun and not worry about the money, and be focused on being of service and sharing what I'm passionate about, and in an authentic way, and the money will come.
Hmm. Okay, that sounds good. Do you believe it?
I'm going to do my best.
Well, that's all anybody can ask. So the neat thing is you can't get it wrong. Right? Life is a practice session for the next step and the next step and the next step. So if you find the money starts to drop down, at least now you have an awareness of what might be going on. And so maybe in the future, then you'll get even more clarity about things that you can do to amplify that passion. Because it's very clear, at least to me, that you really do love that first company. And so there's no reason you can't be wildly successful at it at the same time. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Great question. And we've got time for one more. It looks like Deb's got her hand up here again. Go ahead, Deb.
Well, I was just going to make a comment to, since nobody else was saying anything too, but I was noticing how you say things come to you and things are put in front of you that you're meant to see or do or whatever, right?
Well, that you attract,
Right?
that you're in vibrational alignment with. There's no meaning
Okay,
of
that you're
that,
thinking about.
but
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not that it's right for you, it's that you're just thinking about it. So I came home and I turned on the TV and there was a show on I didn't really want, but it was one of those judge court shows. And it was uncanny that it was the exact same situation as and it gave me some information.
Nice job.
It's just, things have been happening like that. Yeah, they're right in front of me. I'm getting my answers.
Yeah.
Things are being presented. I guess I'm getting in better alignment. But, I do
Right.
pay it. I think the point I want to make is I think people really need to pay attention to the little signs. Like when I do attract something, when something is presented to me too, sometimes I question it. Why that? And so I try and figure out why.
Yeah, good idea. And as long as you do it without any negative judgment or self-condemnation, then you'll always figure it out, and it'll always be positive confirmation that
Well, it's fun trying to figure it out too, and then I think you do get closer and closer to it all.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love hearing those stories. Congratulations, Deb. You're doing a great job
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up.
here. Yeah. Maybe next week.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting down there on time. Any last quick comments or questions before we start our wrap up here for the evening? We've answered everybody's question. I love that.
Yeah, good.
Solved all the problems of the universe at the same time. All right, guys. Well, wonderful, wonderful conversations here. So I think everybody on the call already knows about the Billionaires Club. If you're in the area, if you're not in the area, it doesn't matter because it's a local group, but we meet once a month. We're meeting next week, and we do what we just basically did here, except on an expanded format. A bunch of people. We've got about over 1,300 members in the group right now, and it just keeps growing. So by all means, drop by if you like.
And there's cookies.
And there's cookies. That's why everybody comes. Thanks, Deb. And Deb is our hostess with the mostest. She's our main hostess here and helps us out a lot, along with Katie, who's also on the call. So in a little while, you'll receive an email that has the link to the recording of this call. If you want to listen to it again, by all means, do so. Future calls, again, Monday nights, 7:30, at least through August. We'll be doing this. We'll be gone on the week of July 1st through the 8th, so we won't be on. Then there's no sign up, so you can't sign up anyway. So, and that's because we'll be on vacation. And I'm going to see our buddies Abraham Hicks out up in Alaska, which should be a lot of fun. It's where we learn our stuff, by the way. If you want to learn more about our workshops or us or anything else, please go to personalsuccessprograms.com. And that you can learn everything about us. You can also contact us at 248-349-6225 anytime. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate the conversation, and hopefully we'll see you next week, same time, same station. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much.